Hi everybody, gonna take a look here today at the Browning Buckmark. This is my wife's gun. This is the gun that she picked out for herself. It doesn't help. It doesn't hurt that I also like it. We picked the one with the contour grip. This is super nice. It just feels like it was made to fit your hand. That's gonna be hard to show in a video, but it looks a little bit weird, not quite as elegant as the old style grip, but man, does it ever feel good. And then as a guest appearance, you might occasionally see my Ruger Mark II target model. This was my first gun that I bought when I turned 21. The gun shop guys recommended that I get this instead of the 45 that I wanted. I wanted a Glock 21, and they said, Jeremy, don't get that. Get this nice 22. It's more accurate. You can afford to shoot it just about any time, and those skills that you have from shooting this will transfer to your Glock or whatever you get. But anyway, I'm getting off topic here. Browning Buckmark. This is maybe one of the most often recommended 22 pistols if you go to the gun forums, and with good reason. The trigger right from the factory is fantastic. It's a nice light single action. Before we get any further and I start messing with the trigger, confirm that it's clear. I can even show you guys too. Some guys get real nervous. But a great, I'm not going to dry fire it because I don't want to break the firing pin, but great double action trigger, single action trigger. It's crisp. It's a little lighter than that of the Ruger, even of my well broken in target model. This one has the bull barrel, fiber optic front sight. I don't really like this. I wish it just had a square front sight. This is easier to pick up in the dark or in low light, but let's face it, this is not really a combat pistol. It could be pressed into use as such, you know, and if this is my wife's choice for a home defense pistol, so we'll put up with that. Got a 5.5-inch bull barrel. It's chambered in a 22 long rifle. Like most automatic 22s, its favorite ammo seems to be the CCI Mini Mag. It'll do well with any full power, high velocity ammo, and it's the best with the 38 or 40 grain. Winchester Wildcat is okay. If you get the high grade Super X, that's okay too, but Mini Mag is the only one so far that's been 100% reliable for me. The rear sight is adjustable both for elevation and windage, and it's very accurate. Feels good in the hand, it feels good in my wife's smaller hands, it feels good in my small hands, and it feels good in people's large hands too. On this side we've got the slide lock here, and the safety here. Same position as you'd have it for a 1911. So if you're training on a 1911 or you think you're going to get a 1911, that's a good position for that because it's right where you expect it. It's nice and big, it sticks out enough. Same with the slide lock. It's just a little further forward. You don't really have to change your grip much to get it. If you have bigger thumbs or bigger hands, you probably don't have to change it at all. I just have to raise my thumb a little further. Magazine disconnect, magazine safety. God, I can't talk. Magazine release is right here, just like it would be on most combat pistols. And I think it can also be reversed for lefties. Now, one thing that bugged me about this gun is it comes with the manual, and Browning says to clean it, lock the slide open, make sure it's empty, and then brush all this out. And then, you know, you can occasionally clean out the barrel with the cleaning rod and so forth. But if it needs more cleaning than that, then take it to a gunsmith. That is a bunch of crap, guys. I can't believe they wouldn't even give you instructions on how to field strip the gun. But it's very simple. You just basically take off this top assembly that holds the sight, and it comes right apart. There's a couple things to watch out for. The ejector, you can see it here. Just see that little pin there, I think. Kind of a tiny little thin pin, so you want to be careful not to bend that. Search YouTube and you can see the videos on how to take that apart and clean it. But it's nothing to be afraid of. Browning is just trying to cover their ass a little bit, and I don't know, I find it kind of annoying. I'm going to have to look for that video again when it's time to clean it again, because I'm certainly not taking it to a gunsmith just to do a thorough cleaning. Now, compared to a Ruger Mark II, here's what we have. The Ruger Mark II, the magazine release is down here. I'll show clear on this. Empty. When they went to the Mark III, they moved it up, they got rid of that, and there's kind of an ugly hole there. And then they went to the button here at the back of the trigger guard. And then there's also a bunch more printing on the side of the gun, and a loaded chamber indicator, and a bunch of lawyer crap. But the Mark II, this is my target model. It's got a 6 7/8 inch barrel, adjustable rear sights, very good trigger. Not quite as good as a factory buck mark, so I guess I can just say good, but not very good. You can see the front sight is undercut, so you'll never get glare off of it when you're target shooting, but if you want to carry this in a holster, you have to be conscientious of how you pull it out. You kind of have to push the barrel down before you pull it out, because that just wants to hook on everything. And I like the design of this too, because you have the tubular receiver here, which first of all I think is very elegant, kind of like the Remington 700, and then the barrel is screwed right into that. And so what you have is the rear sight and the front sight are on the same piece all the time. They're never going to get out of alignment. Whereas on the Buckmark, that piece is screwed to the top of the frame here. You have to take that off when you want to detail strip it and clean it. Not so with the Ruger. Also, a lot of guys will steer you away from the Ruger just because they say it's so hard to take down. And on a brand new gun, it is pretty hard. So I'll show you how easy it becomes though after you get a few thousand rounds through it. So the first thing you do is you make sure it's empty, it's cocked, ready to go. I'll dry fire it. Usually you don't want to do this on a 22, but Ruger's instructions said to, so I'll, as soon as I take it off safe. Oh, by the way, safety's in the same spot up here. It doesn't protrude as far, especially since I have this whole grip. It doesn't protrude as far as the Buckmark, but again, this is not a combat pistol, so no big deal. Take it off safe, dry fire it. Now we have a disconnect lever back here, so we'll just get under that with something to pry it up. Let's see if I can do that so you can see it. Alright, so that's up. And now this comes out. Pull it down. There's a pin that goes through the bolt. We have that. Now the barrel and the bolt, I should say the barrel receiver assembly and the bolt are all loose on the frame, and you just push that forward with your thumb. Now if you have a brand new gun, that's actually on there so tight that you have to tap the front of this with a mallet. That scares the hell out of some people. They're afraid to break the sight, or they just think you shouldn't have to do it. But after a couple thousand rounds and a few times taking it apart, it's just very easy. Yeah, so when you're taking it apart, you tap it on the back with the mallet. When you're putting it back together, you tap it on the muzzle. It comes right off. Here we have our receiver, or our frame. You can see the hammer here. Pretty simple works. Steel frame on this particular model. And then here we have the receiver, the bolt, and the barrel. Pull out the bolt. Now you can look right down here and see out the barrel, or you could if there was light behind there. So you can take your cleaning rod and clean it right from the breech, which is the preferable way. You can see I've got some crap that's piled up. This is probably due for a cleaning, but this will go for many hundreds of rounds before you need to clean it. And the better the ammo you shoot, the less often that you need to clean it. If you shoot Remington Thunderbolt or what's that budget Winchester stuff? Not Wildcat, but it's even worse than that. Expert, yeah. Winchester Expert, then you have to clean it more. You can see that the ejector, maybe you can see it, a little sturdier than that of the Browning. Anyway, you just clean in here like so. Try not to scratch up my desk. And then you have the recoil spring here. that just comes right out, and now we can clean the bolt nice and easily. And I'll put it back together here for you real quick. I'm not going to clean it right now, even though it obviously needs it. These things, a lot of guys just shoot them until they're not reliable anymore, and then they clean them. I know, it's kind of not proactive, but whatever, that's the way it goes. Put that back in. Put that back on. That you can see the hook here. Hook's underneath there. Push that back. Again, when it's brand new, in order to get it to go all the way back, you'll have to tap the muzzle with the mallet. That scares the heck out of some people, and they immediately say it's a bad design and you should go with the Buckmark or Beretta Neos or Smith & Wesson 22A. That's just a bunch of rubbish. And then the most challenging part of putting this back together is that there's a pin. I probably won't be able to show it to you, but there's a pin on the back of the hammer that you have to get gravity's help to hold that straight down. So put that back, and you have to read the instructions too. And what Ruger says is tilt it forward, hold it together, squeeze the trigger so that the hammer goes forward. You'll hear that or see that happen. But then when you're putting the latch back in, you have to hold it so that little thing that's on the back of the pin is hanging straight back. This is going to be hard to do on camera because I can do it well enough right side up, but upside down I'm probably going to get kind of clumsy. So I've got to hold it up at an angle like this. Sorry guys, I might have to do this off of camera, but you'll feel that push up all the way, and then you turn this so that that pin is hanging down with gravity, and then you push that back in. And the way you can tell that you've got it right is there should be a little spring tension against this. You shouldn't be able to just push it flat without a little spring tension. And then we flip this lever down and we're done. Everything's working. Empty magazine here. When it really gets dirty, then the bolt hold open feature stops working, so that's a good clue. It's a time to clean. Great 22 pistols, both of them. I prefer the Ruger Mark II. I don't know if I assume the trigger on the Mark III is just as good. It just has a bunch more safety messages and things like that. A lot of people prefer the Buckmark for its a little bit better trigger from the factory. It's a small difference. This one's just a little bit better. This one's still perfectly shootable. Anyone that's going to do serious target work with the Ruger is going to replace the trigger with the drop-in aftermarket unit. But anyway, thanks for watching. They're both 100%. I would say that the Ruger is a more reliable gun. It'll feed the junk ammo a little bit more reliably than the Browning will. There's very few 22 pistols that'll feed the junk ammo reliably, but the Ruger is one. Thanks for watching. Hope you got some good information there, and I'll see you next time.